I could pull a better podcast out of my head. Hey, kids, welcome to the Tempest Universe.
China.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
It's China to me, China.
Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside.
China.
This is the Tempest Universe, man. Hold on to your ass. You're in for a hell of a ride.
Welcome to the Wednesday episode of the Tempest Universe, and we've got some alien talk for you guys today. Listen, like I said on Monday, there's been a lot of UFO sightings, lots of reportings. Things are heating up. Is it thanks to the government? I don't know. Is it thanks to their shitty 9-page report of only like 3 pages of content? I have no idea. But people are paying attention. People are looking to the sky, and they're spotting things. They're spotting a lot of things out there, and a lot of them are just unexplained, of course, because that's the nature of the beast. It is unexplained. We have one individual who's going to share a vision or a project he's working on. No stranger to news articles over the last 2 years about this guy. Then we're going to take a kind of like a look at abductions. And I got a clip. I'm going to tell you right now, don't complain about the damn clip, because it's from the 1950s, so it is what I like to call shit. It's a bad clip, let's be honest. 1950s, it wasn't about high fidelity, stereo, 7.1 surround sound, no. It's just shitty ass audio, but it makes a point. So I feel like I need to play that for everyone so that you can understand where I be coming from. And then we got one about SpaceX, because, we have to at least have one article during the week where we talk about SpaceX. Because, there's always something going on. Not what we want to go on. We don't see a schedule for this suborbital launch. So, we're kind of like stuck in that regard. But it's still a good set of articles to listen to. And the music? Yeah. The music is the music, to be honest. Nothing exciting there. I mean, I know you guys kind of love it. You love it a lot. As a matter of fact, I see Dre and Dave is on. So, Dave from Down Under. Sorry, I forgot to do that part. I know they love the remixes. So let's hit them off with some of those remixes from Monday. Check this out.
Let you go, but have you really gotten? Time moves slow. What are we waiting on? I keep your blood on my
saying when I started this most unfortunate podcast episode. During the 50s and 60s, audio recordings, like when you went in to see a shrink, and they took out their little reel-to-reel recorder, by our standards today, it's shit. It's a horrible recording. I got a recording that I'm going to play for you guys. It was recorded in the 60s. And, some of you might know this clip already. It's about 4 minutes, so bear with me. Just know that the audio quality is just not great. Check it out.
When we were standing in the highway in the forestry section of the White Mountains on Route 3, the first time we stopped to get a better look at this light that was moving through the sky and coming toward us. I could see this happening, and I said, "It's a plane." And Betty said, "Look how it is flying." And I got Dulcie out the car and put her chain on her, and I kept looking up and down the highway because I was afraid of a car coming by and seeing me while I relieved myself. And then I went to the trunk of my car and I opened it and took out a gun that I had concealed there and put it in my pocket. And then I said, "Give me the binoculars." And I looked and I could see that this thing that I thought was a plane had made a turn to the left toward Vermont and kept turning and started coming right back. And I had thought I had only seen this happen when I was in Philadelphia, and I used to be a mail truck driver, and there was a box located near the international airport, and just where I would stop, I would see planes coming in to land with the lights on, and it was a very funny feeling to see this large thing coming to land. And I thought of that when I was standing on the highway, that this thing is coming right toward us. And I said, "Come on, Betty, let's go." And I quickly returned to the car. And I said, "Oh, Betty, you're trying to make me see something that is not there." And I would slow down and look at her insistence that, "Look what it's doing." And I said, "Well, forget it. It's just a plane. It's probably some flyer or something." And yet I felt very strange about the whole thing because I could not hear any sound. And I wanted to hear some sound of a motor. And I could not quite understand why it was now following us off to the right. And when we would go around a bend in the road where it would be obstructed from view, it would appear after we had gone around, and there it was coming around the other side of the mountain. And I began to really feel very alarmed and hoped that some car, or I could see a state police to come by and say, "Look at that, it is following us," but no one came by, and I felt very uncomfortable for moving away. Yes, I felt funny. I could not remember, and yet I knew something had happened, and I was confused that I was off of Route 3, and I was driving back to Route 3, and I just could not understand why I was off Route 3. And Betty said, "Well, do you believe in flying saucers now?" And I said, "Oh, don't be ridiculous, Betty. Of course not." And we then had a beep, 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 beep sound on the car, and I kept quiet after that.
So that was Barney Hill God, wait a minute. I just realized Barney Hill was like a show from the UK back in the days. Anyway, Barney and Betty Hill, that's their incident back in September of 1961. What you heard was Barney kind of talk about the incident. And let me just recap before you had to take a piss. Betty had been going on. She saw some damn light in the sky. And he's like, I got to go, I got to go take care of some business. But, she keeps on hounding him. Look, why is it in the sky? Why is it doing that? I think my version is better. And he says, shut up. Shut the hell up already. Because, he's scared shitless now. He talks about how this light looks familiar, like when he worked at the airport and he would see the airplanes landing. Like that. But he said he would hear the engines. And I don't think it's actually in his audio. But he says he was afraid because the light was coming towards him, kind of like at the airport. But he didn't hear any engines. There was no jet engine sound. So he was freaked out. He's I don't know what the hell's going on. But, after he, drains the lizard, he goes to get back in the car, grabs a pistol. Keeps on driving. All of a sudden, he goes around the corner. He thinks he's going to lose this damn light. Guess what? The damn light's there again. Then we got the missing time. He ended up on a different road when they came to. And Betty didn't give no fucks. Betty was like, hey, stupid, you believe me now? With that probe hanging out your ass? Not to make fun of them, but Betty and Barney, that is the quintessential abduction case. It is. That's the one that started all. That's the only one that's recorded. I always feel like, as long as UFOs have been around, I just don't feel like Betty and Barney are probably the first one that came forward. I have a feeling that a lot more people were being abducted around that time. They just weren't. What are they going to do? They missed some time, okay, that's great. I was drunk. Maybe I needed to be drunk. But, like I always say, stop it. Stop pulling over to the side of the road, especially if somebody says there's some crazy ass shit in the sky. Don't stop. Keep going. You got to pee. Get yourself an empty bottle. I'm sorry there's a bunch of trash in your car. Get yourself an empty Coke bottle or, a can or something and pee in there. Have somebody hold the steering wheel while you take care of it. But I say that all the time. That is like one of the worst things you can do when there is something in the sky that's really off. Just don't do it. Don't screw around and get your ass abducted. This article, which is linked in the description, is asking what do we make about these outrageous stories? Because you can't. There's no explaining them. They will tell you that these things are, as they say, psychosis. But no one can explain how is it that Betty and Barney, under hypnosis, recall the same situations, the same incident, and how would they share the same psychosis? They might have been on the same drug, who knows? But these are not the people that they appear to be. To know their interviews. And you can go to YouTube, search the internet. They had a ton of interviews while under hypnosis as well. You can check that out. It's there for you. It sounds worse than what I played. I can tell you that much. It took a while for me to try to get the background noise out of this audio. But yeah, I did what I could. There's another case in trying to understand the complete oddity that is alien abductions. Goes back to October 16th of 1957 out of Brazil. Of all places, Brazil. Now, we could say this, not that there was a big impact on, entertainment media back in the day when it came to aliens. Yeah, there had some alien shit out there, but not like there is today. Especially, you would think, not in Brazil. There's a story about a lady named Villas Boas. And she said she was out in the fields of Brazil. I'm sorry, it's a he. Well, what can you do? She was out there. He was out there. Plowing the fields when he was taken into a spaceship by a group of ETs measuring about 5 feet tall. He said they put him in a room. There was gas coming out of the walls. He got very sick. And then all of a sudden, a very attractive female, completely butt naked, with long blonde hair, fire red pubic hair, and a deep blue cat-looking eyes, came and forced him to have intercourse. By the way, I didn't mention this, but Vijas Boaz is Ronnie Dawson's long-lost brother. A lot of people, it's funny in the article, it says that they speculate he didn't resist too much. Sounds like he was really enticed by this. According to Boaz, he felt that the intentions of this alien that have abducted him in the 1957s was that she wanted to produce a human-alien hybrid that she could raise on her own planet. According to Vijas Boaz, he had burns on his body, and a doctor from a medical center in Brazil said that he had radiation burns. How do you get radiation burns, end up with a 5-foot-tall, butt-naked, reddish pubic-haired, cat-eyed lady that wants to do the nasty with you in the middle of Brazil, and then after all of that, end up with radiation burn? Or at least it was radiation burn. He didn't end up with alien venereal disease or anything like that. He didn't need to get a shot. I'm just saying. But how do you explain these things? These things are unexplainable. You cannot explain them. And even today, when we hear stories like this, it's hard to believe. I guarantee you that no one in his little town, of wherever the fuck this is in Brazil, I guarantee you they didn't give two shits about his story and thought he was damn crazy. But then how do you explain radiation burn? I mean, what the hell was he plowing? Nuts. Now along came an American researcher, because he's a skeptic, Peter Rogerson. He says, this Vijas Boaz is crazy. Well, he's like an Italian-American researcher at this point. And he says that apparently in November of 1957, now, this was, of course, apparently after the incident happened, but he says in 1957, November, O Cruzeiro was a publication down in Brazil, was pretty famous, I guess. And he says there was a story down there, and in it talked about, in this magazine, an alien abduction type of situation. According to him, Boaz Brazil, Villas Boaz from Brazil, according to Rogerson, Boaz apparently read this story and then decided to predate his abduction to be before the publishing of this abduction story in the magazine. I mean, how far do you go to try to fake being abducted? I don't understand. I mean, if that's the case, how the hell did he get radiation burns? How did that happen? Makes no damn sense. There is a reality check here where, it just takes you to the point where it makes no damn sense. Let's be honest, right? When we look at the nearest, habitable Goldilocks planet or nearest star to our particular planet, it's 4.2 light years away. It would take Elon Musk about 100,000 years just to get there. So aliens must be pretty damn horny to come all the way to to planet Earth just to get some. So I don't know. What does it all mean? What is it about humanity that has cat ladies going crazy? Alien cat ladies. Because we got some ladies that are catty, but these are real alien cat ladies with hot red pubic hair. I don't know. There's more in the article, but the question is for us today is, do we ignore alien abductions? Do we just put them to the side because we're just trying to figure out if there's such a thing as UAPs, UFOs from outer space? So maybe we're jumping the gun by paying too much attention to the idea of alien booty calls. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe we need to skip that. The article kind of takes a look at present day and where humanity is today. And when you look at things like, intergalactic space travel and all that kind of shit, it doesn't fit for us. For humanity, it doesn't fit. Maybe underground somewhere, there's a lot of aliens that crashed here a long time ago, 100,000 years ago, and they're stuck. So they decide to, just come out once in a while and get a booty call from the humans. But that is the problem with abductions, is that we don't know what to make of it because it just, from our perspective, nothing fits. Because we're limited in our knowledge. And as a matter of fact, one of our articles is going to talk about that specifically. That we've caged ourselves in this little box of limited science and knowledge of the universe, that something like alien abductions, we have to just throw it away because it doesn't make sense. But yet, there's just too much evidence. Betty and Barney Hill were the first ones to let us know that shit's going down. And they continue from there. So I don't know. There's more to this article in the description. Check it out. You'll see kind of where we're stuck in alien abduction madness, because like everything else, UFOs, UAPs, whatever you want to call them, alien abductions, cattle mutilations, we just don't know. We have no freaking clue, but because we're looking at this from a limited perspective, none of it makes sense. You just have to ignore it, I guess. You make the call. Check this out.
Baby, I see you hanging with your friends, chillin', day and night for days on end. Now you can't come see me tonight. Say you ain't got the time. I'm the last one you prioritize. Peeping your IG pictures on my phone. I won't spend another night at home. Okay, I'ma just be on my way. You see, I'm not the one you take for granted, babe. I know that life can be busy, love, but you make time for the ones you love. It's only right, it's what I deserve. Love, tell me what you done for me, done for me, done for me, done for me lately. Did your mind go on vacation, leaving your affection for me at home? Tell me what you done for me, done for me, done for me, done for me lately. Where's your heart and your attention? Where's the kind of love that I used to know? Baby, so can you take me on a date? The simple things you do to make me stay. Now it's like you don't even try. I used to wonder why, but now I'm left with no more tears to cry. I know that life can be busy, love, but you make time for the ones you love. It's only right, it's what I deserve. Love, tell me what you done for me, done for me, done for me, done for me lately.
This next one it's going to be a little short. Because, I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. There really isn't. You just, fuck it, we know. Out of control SpaceX rocket on course to crash into the moon, astronomers warn. That's like so freaking dramatic. First of all, it's out of control. How could a rocket be out of control? It's uncontrolled. Is it? I don't know. I guess it's semantics there. Whatever it is. Apparently, this SpaceX rocket, which was launched back in 2015, out from Florida, as a matter of fact, February of 2015, it was supposed to, launch a space weather satellite, and then basically it had two options. SpaceX was either going to bring the ship back down to the planet, but because of the orbit that it was going, it also had the option of just letting it go off into deep space. The problem is that it ran out of fuel. Yeah, just 2015, there's been I believe it was a second stage or something like that, sitting out there, one of the boosters, just going around, just chilling, out of control, and now it's got its sights on the moon. They say sometime between February and March, this thing is going to crash into the moon. I mean, like, who cares? Really? It's about 4 tons. No one's going to get hurt. I mean, we did have, several thousand troglodytes that were crashed on the moon. Now we have a way to get rid of all of them. Just kill them all with this SpaceX rocket piece. It's funny how people are, all worked up about this. Now, they're tracking it, and they're trying to figure out exactly when it's going to get there and what's really going to happen. Nobody really cares, to be honest. Of course, they use things like out of control, chaotic orbit, not enough fuel. It feels like a movie. Like someone really is going to get hurt when this thing hits the moon. We're going to lose the ability to have waves in the oceans. The moon's going to, get knocked back a few million miles. What the hell is wrong with people? It really became a big deal. Now they're saying that the rocket piece, the booster piece, is actually traveling at about 2.58 kilometers per second. If you want to translate that from draconian math, that would be 5,771 miles per hour. I don't think there's going to be too many pieces left. I'm sure some countries might be worried, right? Because they've got little rovers up there like China. Their rovers might get damaged, or their rovers might catch one of the most epic crashes on the moon. I'm just saying, it could go either way. There's even somebody out there that right now is writing software. Actually, I guess they completed it, called Project Pluto, in order to track near-Earth objects. According to their little software, the collision with the moon should happen sometime around March the 4th. And again, some other people are predicting mid to late February. Nobody knows. You got to take so much shit into consideration. You got to take the Earth, the sun, the moon, It's just too much. All the people that live beneath the surface of the hollow moon, all their experiments are fucked. The guys on the dark side of the moon, not the dark side of life, they're going to feel the impact. But this is what we got to look forward to, or not, because they're making a big deal about this. It's going on in all these articles, but then in the articles you read, it tells you may not even see the impact. Probably nobody will. Because we will not be in the right position with the moon to actually see it. Who cares? This is what we're dealing with. It's just been an onslaught of negative news for SpaceX and Tesla, Elon. It just goes on and on. It's constant. But the only thing that can save them from all this negative shit is if they finally get the damn Starship into low orbit. That's what we're waiting for. And, you know, at this point, I feel like what's going to happen is that thing's going to go up and just blow up and clear out all of Boca Chica. Yeah, that's what you environmentalists get for freaking complaining so damn much. Your asses are going to be blown away whenever this thing happens. So just put on your binoculars, sit down. You're going to get a pretty good tan from this. I don't know. But that's the big deal in a nutshell. I mean, I am excited about how fast it's going. Jeez Louise. That's some serious speed on that thing. But that's all. Nothing else is exciting about that. I mean, it'd be nice if it crashes somewhere where we can watch it. I'm sure there's a lot of info you can glean from that. So close to us. But, you know, the thing doesn't even have fuel, so very minimal nastiness is going to go down. Now, it would be hilarious if China had such bad luck that Elon's hunk of junk, space junk, would actually crash into his little rover. That would be just nuts. That would be, I mean, talk about bad luck. Talk about having a really shitty space program that some fucking piece of junk from 2015 just happens to land on your rover. I don't know. That's just bad. There's more in the article if you want to even read about it. I don't know. I figured I'd just bring it to you guys and you know, because I like SpaceX. I like Elon. And, you know, people should stop. You just leave him alone. I'm going to start crying like that one dude that was crying about Britney. I just can't. I can't.
I've been wasting my time. I don't know why I can't get you out my mind. Yeah. So lost, where do I go? I was in the chase, caught a flat on road. It was all love, X no O. I was feeling rich, but we turned out broke. Guess I let my feelings take control. Guess I let my demon take the wheel. Used to think that we be growing old. I can't believe that it was real. It was back in late December when I did it. I just wish I could forget. Cause I hate how much I love it, oh I hate how I just love to catch a feel. Yeah. I've been wasting my time. I don't know why I can't get you out my mind. If I find a way to get it, when I do it, I can live it and forget. Cause I hate how much I love you, or I hate how you just put me in my feelings.
Guess I let my feelings take control. Guess I let my demon take the wheel. Used to think that we be growing old. Now I can't believe that it was real. Guess I let my feelings take control. Guess I let my demon take the wheel. Used to think that we be growing old. Now I can't believe that it was real.
Guess I let my feelings take control. Guess I let my demon take the wheel. Used to think that we be growing old. I can't believe that it was real. I've been wasting my time. I don't know why I can't get you out my mind. I've been wasting my time. I don't know why I can't get you out my mind.
Now I can't.
Our next one is from our superstar scientist, our man in the streets, in the science streets, Avi Loeb. He wrote this article, and it's titled, "Can We Find UFOs from Above?" One of the most amazing ideas ever. Honestly, fantastic idea. But he's talking about the Galileo project, and he says it's time to unravel the nature of the UAP/UFO if you're nasty. This is nuts. The project is going to use Planet Labs data to search for UAPs, UFOs from the sky, from satellites. These things are going to have artificial intelligence algorithms that should be able to, and we'll talk about that in a second, to distinguish extraterrestrial equipment from familiar objects like meteors, airplanes, atmospheric bullshit in the air. But they're going from way above, right? So they're going above where someone cannot confuse a UFO with a condor. They're also going to be above lightning, so the whole ball lightning thing probably is not going to work as an excuse for a UFO. So basically, any object that's higher than 50 kilometers is going to appear under the sights of this AI. And it's going to analyze it. It's going to tell us what the hell is going on. My only problem with this is, hopefully it's like, it actually learns, because if we're writing the algorithms for this thing and we don't know shit about UAPs, how the fuck is the algorithm going to know? I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe it'll take a few months, maybe a year or two for it to, do some analysis and kind of figure shit out. But the idea is just, really, it's better than sliced bread, to be honest. Because literally, someone up there has an eye in the sky, and maybe one day, Avi and the rest of the crew, as part of this Galileo project, will be able to take that data of all the strange shit it picks up and coordinate that, kind of match it up with data of sightings. This is why reporting sightings is so much more important now than ever. But not just, talking to TMZ about the shit. Put that in a database somewhere, report it. That way we can make some correlations here. But Avi, in this article, he really sounds like he's the hip-hop master of science right now. Like, he's got a gold chain around his pocket protector. And, he's got some, gold teeth with encrusted in diamonds. He's holding on to his crotch while he's on his mic. And all he was doing is reading this article back to himself to make sure it sounded good. That's how I picture him. He's the wild card in science. He says the AI should be able to clearly distinguish between extraterrestrial equipment and terrestrial junk. Pay attention, Elon. He says it's not going to just do it by looking at the boats and maybe imprinted labels or, shit on the side of the craft or the UAP. But it's going to include things like anomalies, like Lua Elizondo talks about, motion, speeds, acceleration, things that human beings today can't do, or even natural phenomena. This Galileo project is going to be something else. If it works. It may not work. It might be a big fucking dud. Who knows? We could hope that it does. Because we need this. We really need this to help us understand what the hell is going on. Are we really all just, screwed up on some mystery, a pheromone or some shit that gets released by the planet that makes us think that we see UFOs and aliens? I don't know. Something's going on. One of the things that he says is, which is really important to understand, is that the team is confident that the understanding of mankind when it comes to the universe is extremely incomplete. An example that he gives is that two of the most abundant things in the universe, dark matter and dark energy, we know nothing about. Absolutely nothing. And he says, what if this is what extraterrestrial technology, that civilization in question, what if that's what they harness? All of this abundant cosmic fuel. And because we can't understand it, nothing makes sense. The other thing is, if a system that's using either dark energy or dark matter, and it actually ejects some of this stuff, how the hell are we going to capture it? We don't even know what it is. So our telescopes won't even be able to detect it. We've made nothing to try to detect it. So we'd never know. I tell you, Avi's he's going hard on science. He also says that an interstellar community watching humanity from space might decide that there really isn't any evidence of there being anything intelligent in our solar system. I mean, I figure if they're way, way, way in advance, yeah, that could be it. But he hopes that this algorithm, this artificial intelligence that's going to come out of this Galileo project may share eventually some kinship with the technology of an alien from 4.2 far. From AI that may be created by somewhere else, some alien civilization. But he says the sky's the limit when it comes to this project and AI. And he's fairly comfortable and confident that this will produce something, that this is going to work. And I don't see why not. If anything, it'll rule out some situations, especially if they can share that data with sightings on the planet. We should be able to define what people are seeing or experiencing. I'm excited about this. I hope this really happens. I hope Galileo gets off to a good start. And we can finally have some kind of answers from somewhere. But what a better place to have answers from than analyzing the stuff that's coming from space. I think it's a great idea. Like I said, Avi is a superstar. Avi Loeb, he's with us. He's with us in trying to solve this. To be honest, the guy's like a hurricane. Check out the link in the description.
Like you think,
Mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
So let's see, we talked about, stuff being crashed on the moon, and it's going to make that hollow Death Star ring. We talked about if the carpet doesn't match the drapes, it's probably alien. We also talked about abductions, because there's something there. We like to ignore it, like it's not happening, but guess what? You can't get away from it. These things actually happen. We also talked about Avi Loeb, getting his rock star groove on a hip-hop tip, grabbing his crotch and the mic, and saying, we're going to drop some AI on you. We're going to catch those UFOs one way or another. This next one is about a Stanford professor that says he has analyzed UFO materials that are not playing by our rules. I didn't write any rules. Somebody did, I guess. The guy's name is Professor Gary Nolan. Gary Nolan. Now, if you're looking at the image for this particular episode, you will see the head of the Atacama alien. You guys, was it? I can't remember if it was Stephen Greer. I think it was Stephen Greer that was all about this little alien. I want to say Jaime Maussan might have started it or got him in contact with the people. But that's the one. The little baby, little tiny little alien. 6-inch alien. A humanoid skeleton that was found out there in Chile's Atacama Desert. In a mining town of all places. So, there was a lot of, talk about this really being an alien person. And then they was like, no, it's a fetus. And then, they just went back and forth about this little 6-inch dried up little thingy. Oh, yeah, it looks alien now. I mean, come on, look at it. No way that could be human. It turns out that Nolan was actually part of a team out of the University of California in San Fran that actually took the time to say, hey, let's take a look at this DNA here. And they did. They looked at the DNA. And that's when the announcement came out. It's human. The Atacama alien was human. The DNA and bone composition was that of a 6-year-old. Real short 6-year-old, like 6 inches. Yeah. There was 2% of the DNA that they could not match with human. But they felt like that's just because it was out there like being turned into beef jerky. That's what they said. People were not happy about that. As a matter of fact, I think Stephen Greer still talks about the Atacama alien like it's really alien. But if 98% of the genome is human, how... Steve, what are you talking about? What are you doing, Steve? Go back to making your videos and being sad about things. Well, it turns out that after Professor Nolan did this, raid on their parade, raid on the alien parade, he brought some rain to the Atacama Desert. A couple of agencies in the United States were like, hey, what's up? I see you don't screw around there, oh Nolan, oh Gary. I see you don't play. Well, we found some shit for you to examine. They're talking about metamaterial. People in the American agencies, aeronautic agencies that have come into possession of metamaterial have taken this to Professor Nolan and the crew for answers. I mean, some of this material dates back to the 1950s. This whole episode has been about basically people researching what could be things from 4.2 far from every different damn angle. So, Professor Nolan got his hands on some metamaterial from Brazil back from the 1950s. Actually, 1957. There was an incident that had a crash site that was known as the Ubatuba event. It's almost as bad as the Muamua. So he analyzed two separate samples from the same event. What happened was that the samples were completely different. Same craft, same accident, or should I say crash, and they're completely different. He says the first sample had the absolute spot on what you expected for isotopic ratios for magnesium. Just think about it as magnesium, a chunk of magnesium. What you would normally expect maybe in 1957 for there to be. Like if you went to the store, you said, give me a bar of magnesium, this is the shit they gave you. But he says when he looked at the other piece, that was for the same crash, same incident, it was way off. It almost seemed like a different piece of magnesium that had completely different isotopic ratio. He says, listen, the odds of that being incidental or just happening at a crash, it's too great. And at that time, to create that much of a difference in that magnesium in Brazil in 1957, it would be extremely expensive. Like you would have to sell a few towns in Brazil to make it happen. And he says, it doesn't even make any sense why you would take the same piece of metal and build it out of two completely different types of magnesium. What's astonishing about his conclusion is that if it wasn't for the fact that we had the metamaterial, we wouldn't know the significant differences in that one piece from the other piece of the same crash 70 years ago. Because the equipment wasn't there. We didn't have the technology to do it. And now we do. But this is what's happening. That this metamaterial, we've heard about metamaterial for a few years now. And they are being looked at. They're being examined. Okay, what they're finding is that these crafts or whatever this metal is coming from, it's not being put together the way humanity would. And there's no rhyme or reason for this to be happening other than it's not from here. The processes that are being used, it's not something we would do. Especially not back in the 1950s. There's more to the article. I just wanted to bring to light the fact that even though the talk of metamaterial has kind of gone away, we don't hear it too much. Here's one guy who's been involved in, kind of debunking some alien stories, but they're coming to him to look at this, and he's saying pretty much there is something wrong here. Something is not quite right. And for these things to be from the same incident is highly unusual. There's more to the article from Professor Nolan, if you want to read that. And some of the other findings, it's in there. But until then, this is the end of today's episode. I'll catch you guys next week, if I could speak. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. Ciao.
Today is the beginning of the end and the start of a new beginning. Time has come to redefine yourself and let go of the demons in your head that have held you in captivity for so long. It's time to flip the page and
proudly. In other words, fuck you. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.